Hello and welcome to Master Edison Format. This is the channel for you to get better at Edison, and today we have two very interesting replays of very kind of high rated players on Duel book ranked playing Gladiator Beasts. So kind of interesting that this is a deck that I covered relatively little on the channel so far, but I did kind of run into these replays between very high rated players, Ozzy 999 against 4-Gate Blink, and I played against 4-Gate Blink in the past a few times, and I've seen him so far always play GBs, but the Ozzy, I've seen him play Froggle TK mostly, so I was kind of surprised to see he's playing GB here. So he just sets one passes, starts off with a Cold Wave, quite an aggressive start, but he wants to go for the Secutor play immediately, so I think, I mean, it could be worth it. You get a +2 of the Secutor. Well, you have to use a Tiger. It's basically, you basically go even. You get to pop a back over the Bestiary, so that's where you get your plus, and now you can go into basically a turn 1 Heraclinos, which is pretty good. I mean, he has a pretty trap heavy hand. The GB doesn't have a ton of ways to stop this. You know, if he had a way to go into Murmiro, you know, that could have basically ruined this entire play. So that's kind of like, if he had any GB and a Test Tiger, or a Prism and Test Tiger, he could have gone into a Murmiro play. So he kind of got a little bit lucky, well, not necessarily, but like just didn't get punished. So he was able now to keep his Heraclino in the field, and now he's in a pretty great position. I don't know if he knows he's playing GBs, like, I don't know how much information he has. I think if I was playing against Ozzy, I would guess he's on Froggle TK, but I guess like in this specific case he's on GBs. So now back to Ozzy. I mean, the Cold Wave actually put in a lot of work here, because like he had 5, yeah, basically, don't want to say that the Cold Wave won in the game, but the Cold Wave in combination with Test Tiger definitely wins him the game there. So yeah, not really too much to see in game 1. Yeah, I was spectating this while this was going on, and yeah, Ozzy gets to go first again. This time I'm guessing he's gonna have like probably a little bit of a better start. Decides to set 2 and pass, doesn't commit any monster. I don't hate this, because like you make the opponent's Cyber Dragon worse, you make a lot of the opponent's GB monsters worse, because well, not worse, but in the sense like if you summon, let's say, a Quarry, they can summon Cyber Dragon. If you summon a Sam Knight, they have a Quarry, so it doesn't feel great. Here he summons attacks with this. This doesn't feel great either, to be honest, because like now he can go into a Bestiary, or decides to go into a Quarry. I guess this is smart not to play into Bottomless. Lets this happen. Goes to End Phase and just passes. Doesn't use a Test Tiger, which I like. I think you want to try to bait out some back row before you go into a Secutor Test Tiger play. Here, yeah, Brain Control here is insane. Like in this matchup, like Brain Control is extremely strong. Like you can take it and then fusion with it. You can take it and basically get. I think you can summon from your deck. I'm not sure if you can summon with the the one you take. I think you do. Yeah, you can shuffle it to the deck. Yeah, of course. So yeah, you get to shuffle this. Summons a Gizeros. I guess like he could have summon something else, but there wasn't really a point, so it gets to shuffle this in the deck, goes to your opponent. The opponent goes into from a Secutor. He's probably gonna go into Murmiro play, but he doesn't have really a way to stop this now. I guess he has the Judgment. He decides to Sorum the Test Tiger. Yeah, and yeah, like nothing really he can do here. The Secutor is most likely going to die. Like doesn't really do much here on the field. Summons a Sam Knight. I mean, here he has a Starlight as protection, and the Trap Stun, so like he's doing quite well here. Not really too much he can do there. Decides, yeah, he probably has to Compulsory here. If he, yeah, runs into Traps, unfortunately, so I mean, Rota is not going to do anything. It's probably gonna get popped too. So here gets to use the Gizerius first. Summons another Sam Knight. This is gonna get most likely a Bestiary. Bestiary is gonna pop the back row, and then you can go into the fusion. So yeah, not really too much you can do there. Yeah, this is just game. You don't really have a way to out the fusion there, and that's where like sometimes Cyber Dragon is not so great, because like it's good if they only have like just the normal, like just a GB monster on the field, and it helps you attack over. But like you know, if they've already done the fusion thing, like the Cyber Dragon is a lot worse, and you know, I think it's good that early in the game, like maybe on turn 2, you just or I mean, yeah, turn 2 if you're going second, like it's a good way to attack over or bait out bottomless, deepers, and something like that. But after that, I guess it's a little bit tricky. On top of that, the Cyber Dragon, you have the problem of like the Prisma. If they side in their own Cyber Dragon, Prisma sending Cyber can basically fuse with your Cyber, so like you can kind of you can kind of play in a way that you get punished with Cyber Dragon. So here starts with Stratos, double Prisma in hand. My body, interesting to see this in this. I'm guessing this is coming from the side deck. Trapor also coming from the side deck. I think Trapor is one of the best cards in the GB side. It's good in the mirror. It's good against against Blackwings. So here Trapors. He could have technically protected this with the Book of Moon, I believe. Yeah, anyway, he doesn't do it. He decides just to set Compulsory. He's not in a great spot here because, yeah, like now you're on the back foot. There's a quest, unless you compose it, is most likely gonna do some damage here. Decides to take it. Yeah, I feel like if you had bottomless, you would have used it there, so I guess he goes for Aquari. Decides not to go for the Bestiary. I guess the problem with going with Bestiary is that you have Darius in hand. Like, I know you don't always want to go for it here because you can get punished by compulsory chamber, of course. But if you had MST, you could train it. Brain control again. This is extremely good in the mirror. Like now you turn off also a potential chariot here. Now you get to attack over. You get. I mean, you just. Yeah, this is just insane in the mirror. I think you get now to do this. You remove the monster. Now you get to go into your Darius. Darius can bring back the quest. Interesting that that's what you decide to go into. I guess like now you're gonna set the Bestiary, and now you're gonna pop both. Yeah, I think very well played. Now you pop both, and like there's not really too much you can do. Both of them were like, kind of protection for his turn, so kind of get to out 2 cards like that. Like now he has a handful of monsters. I don't see like yes, you can go for the Darius Bestiary play, but like this is gonna get bottomless. You don't really want to use pre on this because you might need it next turn. So yeah, Test Tiger is gonna get him as a cuter. Yeah, this is over. Now you can even go into the other fusion. It's gonna get a ton of GBs. His graveyard is empty, but you can still go into the fusion, into the Heraklinos. And like technically, I think if he wanted to, he could even go into. He decides not to go into Bestiary because he would have to pop his own back row, which is smart. Decides not to even go for the Gizerius here, which I guess makes sense. Yeah, goes for Heraklinos, which is I think is good. It's smart. Like you don't want to leave anything on the field that can get attacked. You don't want to give him any chance here. So goes for a Prisma. Prisma is gonna send. He does have technically an out to this. Because the chaining to the Tiger, you can chain the Book of Moon or the compulsory, and that's just game. Nothing else to do there. Very well played by Oddsy. I mean, well played by both players. I think, in a matchup like this with two like aggressive decks, the kind of, one who gets to go first generally has an advantage, even though we've seen, I mean, Oddsy and 4-Gate Blink like lose the game that they were going first, but who gets kind of the aggressive draw or like the tempo generally wins. Like it's so hard for a deck like GBs to come back from behind. They can do it, basically the play to come back from behind is going for Prisma with Test Tiger into Darius. I'm guessing he's playing to Darius because otherwise I don't really see what he's going into here. He can go into more Mirror, but that doesn't really do anything. He can go more Mirror, Book of Moon, something, and or he can go into he could go into a Secutor here actually, and Book of Moon something and crash into not crash, but like attack the defense position monster, and then the Secutor gets to bring 2 other things back, and like you can go into Heraklinos, but that's kind of like the extent of what you can do there. Otherwise you are a little bit in trouble there. Not really too much you can do. If you're behind like this, because he can negate all your cards, he has a bigger monster than you coming from behind, you don't really have a chance. In the next replay we have 4-Gate Blink again against Kiss, and they're both playing GBs as well, so again we have another mirror match, both on Cold Wave, kind of interesting to see Opromus. I don't think you see this in most GB lists. Also, this is a 40 card version. This is a 43 card version, so very different list. Interesting to see Shrink in the main. Not everybody plays this card, especially if they also have Cold Wave, and it kind of depends. Interesting to see this 40 card GBs with the Cold Wave and the Oprimus. I mean, this is kind of interesting. They're both high rated players, so we should see a good duel. Here is kind of like the tricky thing, you know, in a tournament you would know what you're up against. In this type, in ladder, you don't really know until you kind of run into it. So they both get to use the effect. The turn player, I think, resolves first. That's kind of how this works, and then he can pop this, but he has a chariot, and then yeah, he gets to resolve his Opromos, which doesn't feel great. I mean, from the point of view that you can just set this and like make them attack it and do stuff during the opponent turn, like this is actually pretty good. The unfortunate thing is that, you know, if they Kaios it, or, you know, it is kind of slow, so that's why I think you see most lists not play this card. But it does kind of a tricky aspect where, especially after siding in a tournament, like that could be a Consecrated Right, or could be an Opromus, like something like that. Like, and especially against a lot of players, they're gonna just assume that's a Raiko. So they're gonna attack it with like their Armageddon Knight or something. But this is a great for case, like he gets to add the chariot back, and that's where Quest is really at its peak, is when he gets to do this. And he uses normal summon, yeah, he has to smashing, otherwise he's gonna be way too far behind. And yeah, has to pass turn with nothing. He does have the Rescue Cat to potentially come back, but yeah. Here he also has this. Seeing this card in the Respite in the deck is kind of crazy to me, because like even in this case you could use it. You have 2 GBs, you could use it, but you don't really want to, like in the off chance you don't draw a GB. Like here you have the possibility to attack, and I guess you can go for a quest to add back a quest and then use it. So I guess like that makes sense. So let's see if that's a play. That might be the play, actually. Yeah, a quest, add back, and then use it. But like in general, this is not a card you see often, because you don't play a ton of monsters, and when you do see them, you don't really want to lose them. You want to keep them. But I think, yeah, now it's a good time to use it, the Respite. And I would say this could be an interesting tech sometimes. Like in some situation, you might want to put like your Bestiary or something, or your Retiari that you weren't supposed to draw back in the deck. This is a very homebrew version. You have Reckless Greed in here, you have Upstart in here. I mean, this is like a Turbo GB version. Like, I don't know what we're saying. Gets to Caesar Test Tiger. I think mistakenly discards something, but yeah. Probably sets 4 here. Yeah, sets 4 into a heavy without a protection. You see this in GBs often. You do have a couple chainables, but you know, this doesn't feel great. Let's see, I think you have to go for a heavy. You're behind. You need this heavy to resolve. Reckless Greed compulsory. Gets rid of the chariot though, and the Mirror Force. So it's pretty good trade overall for 4-gate Blink, because like he takes 2 cards, he uses to draw steps. He draws the Rescue Cat, which is a pretty good draw. And now I think you have to go for your own Rescue Cat. You go for the Secutor play. I think this is most likely what you're supposed to do. Go Test Tiger, shuffle this back, go for Secutor. Yeah, goes to attack, gets to summon 2 more GBs from the deck, Raquari, and I guess a quest. Can this add something? But yeah, this adds back more Mirror, which is great. So you have an extra card for the Heraklinos. Gets to shuffle everything back and summon the Heraklinos. Doesn't really can work out against this type of hand, because you don't really have any monster protection. Yeah, you have this prison, but like, yeah, he has a Test Tiger, so you can go into more Mirror play here. Yeah, and that doesn't feel great. It just outs your Heraklinos. You can deprison now, but you know, it doesn't feel amazing. You do have more Mirror of your own though, so that's not too bad. And unfortunately, you don't have a GB in the grave. It would have been great. A quest in this spot would have been great, so you have another GB for your Test Tiger. But you do end with the Raquari and the Shrink. Shrink could come in, could be big here. He decides not to summon the Rescue Cat, which is a little bit interesting to me. Like, I don't really see why you wouldn't, like, I guess the more Mirror is banished, but like you could Cold Wave and you could Rescue Cat into Test Tiger and the Sem Knight, and then you could Not sure what else you could do there. You could yeah, this seems a little bit strange. Like, I guess like you're just letting them attack you, but I mean, you could then also have another test. I'm not really sure what if like there was a better play here. I guess the fact that Murmillo got banished is actually kind of important here. Yeah, so now you have your own quarry and you're kind of stuck to crash, I believe. Yeah, you kind of have to crash into this. Now let's see. He decides not to use the shrink in damage step, which I think is fine. Like, you don't really need it. Oh no, he's changing his mind. No, okay. Okay, I guess he has a trap stun too. The shrink, I don't know, you could have argued for using it there, because like it kind of would have been good, like for tempo wise. Here he goes into Prisma, sends a Bestiari, Bestiari sends Testiger sends a Prisma back to deck, and go for Darius. Darius summon the Bestiari, summon the Akrina actually. Yeah, I forgot that Darius can bring this back too. Which is game. Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, you could bring the Akrina's back. You can bring the fusions back, which is a little bit crazy, to be honest. Yeah, maybe you should play 2 Darius. Like the list I played, I generally play 1, but or in the World Championship list, I should say, that I copied and completely copied. I play 1. Also, I'm surprised to see Upstart and Reckless Greed in Glad Beasts, but I mean, I guess he's cooking with something. We don't know exactly what he's cooking with, but he knows, and that's all that matters. So turn 1, he has double Tiger, which is good, and Prisma, which is also good. Usually you want to start off with the Prisma, but I guess he has the Torrential, so he doesn't mind the Quester getting killed. Here, yeah, MST and Brain Control. Here this could already, or I guess he doesn't even need to use the Brain Control yet. He just attacks over with Darius. And I think Darius being a little bit bigger than a quest is pretty important here. It just doesn't even, you don't even have to use your cards. So now he's drawing, he draws an MST, which is good to stop the Strappo stuff. And like, he has Prisma and Test Tiger, so he can do all the things. He can go into a Secutor if he really wants to. Yeah, he can do all the things, but I don't think he really needs to. He goes into, yeah, goes into the Gizerius and gets to pop the Quarry. Then he gets to attack. I mean, even if there was a Golds, you don't really need to be afraid because you have Murmillo in the deck. So now it gets to summon 2 GBs, goes for double Quarry, which I guess makes sense to play around, or just like not leave anything that can get attacked. In the mirror match, I think you do this a lot because it's the biggest monster you can make. Here, unfortunately, he does have the Prisma. Send Bestiari, gets to Brain Control, and yeah, puts it to top of the deck, and summons the Gizerius, which kind of crazy how Brain Control plays out in this type of matchup. And now he's stuck with a Test Tiger and a Heavy Storm, which doesn't feel great, to be honest. And yeah, on top of that, now he gets to summon more monsters, a Quarry, and a quest gets to add back, which like here is actually pretty important. So you still have a monster next turn. Has back the Bestiari. I think in the mirror match, if you find a way to like Retiari the Bestiari, like it actually can come up and be quite important. Here though, he doesn't have anything. He drew Bottomless, which doesn't feel great. Yeah, he has a Sorim too, but like, yeah, he's gonna fusion first. I guess makes sense to fusion, but like he Bottomless, he could negate if he really wants to. I don't know if I guess he feels like he needs to. I don't know if he really needs to, but because like your opponent is showing that he doesn't really have anything, but and maybe he should have heavied before setting Bottomless, but okay. Yeah, that's just game. Nothing really too much to do there. Like you didn't draw another monster for the Test Tiger, and that's kind of how it checks out sometimes. I think really cool GB list by Kiss, like with the Upstart and the Reckless, but I just think the standard list is just better. Like there's a reason why they don't play these cards and GBs, and especially even the GB spell. Like you saw that like in that specific situation it was good because he had 2 GBs in hand and he had a way to get another one so he could use it. But in general, like let's say in a hand like this, you know, you already have a lot of bad top decks as a GB player because you have a lot of traps. But if you draw the GB spell that shuffles 2 and you draw 3 in this spot, like it's just probably the worst draw in the whole deck you can get here is that card. So yeah, I think that's where like, I don't know. It's also why you don't play like the GB searcher spell. Like that, a spell like that just searches the monster from your deck would be good in basically any deck except specifically for this one, because already all your monsters do that, so you don't really need that card. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to see more replays and more kind of high level Edison content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next one.